Okay guys, welcome back to part 2. The first video we just finished was the 72-hour bag, be it a get home, a get out, a bug in, a bug out, whatever you want it to be. Okay, your emergency day kit, whatever. That's a bag that was pretty lightweight at 23 pounds in a 511 Rush 72 pack. Okay, and it had a lot of gear in it, but there is the capability of adding some firepower to your gear if you so choose. I don't have that stuff and this stuff in my bag because I've chosen to forgo the weight go with the weight savings versus the extra capabilities that it brings. But I do have an extended stay backpack or survival bag, one that you have to go out in the woods with, and it has this kind of stuff in it along with a lot of the stuff that you already saw in the 72-hour bag that we just finished, and it also has a survival kit, which you saw if you watched the personal survival kit video, which came out a few days ago. So this stuff was just some extras that can extend your capabilities, but again, we'll add a little weight. Weight is okay as long as there's a use for it, as long as you get something out of it. Okay. The first thing that I also have on my Rush 72 is this. Okay. And this is their scabbard. Okay, you see the straps, it literally just clips on. It's already pre-configured on the side of my 511 pack, and it holds my rifle. Okay, and it holds any rifle. It can hold a bolt action, a lever action, or a semi-auto, any type, any scope, size, what have you. The barrel goes down here, the muzzle goes down there, rifle goes up here. If it's an AR, the handle actually sticks out, the grip, and then the stock will stick out. But this is a good way to be able to carry my rifle. As you saw, I also had an optional 511 TacTech chest rig that I keep next to my bug out bag or stuffed in the front of my bug out bag, so that if I needed to, I could go all out with an AR or hunting rifle, survival rifle, and a chest rig to support that system. If I don't need it, I don't take it. Okay, it can stay in the car if I'm putting on the bag and jetting, but it could go if it needs to. Okay, onto this gear here. Some of the other things you can do, and before, let me mention this, man, and I'll have to annotate it in the first dang video. On the first one, I forgot to show you in another pocket. I noticed when I was packing everything back up, I forgot to show you bug spray, sunscreen, duct tape, and electrical tape. And I know everybody's going to freak out because bug spray, sunscreen, duct tape, electrical tape wasn't in there. It was in there. I just forgot to show you, and I'll put that on the first video, hopefully as some type of annotation, and get you guys. Hope nobody throws a rod over that. Okay, we talked about some type of disaster or a wreck or a car repair after you change your tire. You may be dirty. A couple of things you might consider are towels. Right? This is an MSR. It's literally super tiny. I think it weighs 1 ounce, and it pulls out. Okay, from the pack. Very effective. This is like a super duty cloth shop towel, really. But if you put on some hand sanitizer or use some of your water to wash off your hands after a repair, after an injury, what have you, or someone else's injury, then you got a way to dry your hands off. Or if you just kind of got a wet head or whatever, you can dry it off. You want a big towel? Here it is. Something like you may be in a situation where you're jumping in a river or jumping in the lake or the pond or the creek to wash off after something bad, or just because you're having to camp out for a few days or whatever. This is a super lightweight pack towel that I got from Campmore, and I think it was kind of high. It was about 20 bucks, whereas that other little towel was like 11. But this is more like a chamois nearly, but it'll dry you off, or the dew inside your tent if that's a problem, moisture or dew or whatever, condensation. If you spill something in your tent, you're good to go with this, or whatever. It's just a towel, man. These are other options. Okay, another thing that you might add on would be first aid, increased first aid. I had a trauma kit with quick clot and stuff. I had a tourniquet and all that stuff, and I had a baby first aid kit, which was the AMK Steelhead. This is the AMK Hunter, which isn't made anymore. This became the Hunter series now. Okay, from AMK. They now have the Steelhead, which was in my 72-hour kit. They have the Bighorn. They have the Grizzly, which I have the Grizzly in my hiking backpack, my big backpack. So this is another kit that gives you a lot more capability. Okay, than the first stuff you saw, right? Tons more capability. Okay, trauma stuff, eye stuff, more medicines, some splints, a lot more wound care, little suture kit. I've got a, I've added medicines to it. I added a snake bite kit up here in this little pocket, right there. There it is. So you might go with something like that, but then when you get to this, kind of a level 2, a stage 2 first aid kit, or a 1.5, you are up to 2.5 pounds. My other one was 6 ounces. So is it worth it? Well, of course, if you're bleeding out or you have somebody with an injury, it's worth it. But it's just going to be a decision that you have to make. Okay. Another consideration might be some clothing. As you noticed in the 72-hour bag, I talked about I have a change of clothes. So in case I'm in work clothes, which in my case is a police uniform, or you're in dress clothes, or you're in clothes that might be inappropriate for a survival situation, or if you're in fine clothes but they get damaged in some type of disaster, some are torn off of you, you want to have something to put on. Or you might want to be able to give somebody else some clothes to put on if they've lost theirs, or they get bloody or they get muddy or what have you. So in this is actually what I use in the winter. This does go in the 72-hour bag in the winter because it's a fleece, a North Face fleece jacket, fleece pants. I got both of these on sale at the time from Camp Moore. I always watch their sales. They do tons of them. They're hot deals and stuff. I literally got the jacket for $17.99 instead of $50, and I got the pants for like $29.99 instead of $50. So pretty cool, and they're lightweight. I wore this fleece under my Timberledge, Ella Bean Timberledge pants and Timberledge shirt and stuff like that, my synthetics, at a recent patrol rifle instructor school in Oklahoma where it was cold as can be and raining a lot of the time. And the fleece worked great, and it didn't make me sweat to death. So it was easy to layer with, and I could unzip it if I got too hot. So you might want to think about that. You may add on a little lantern. Okay, this is a basic Coleman, right? No big deal. It runs on some AA batteries, which go in the bottom. I have AA batteries already with my flashlight. I have some extra ones, and I have the ability to recharge them with solar. So you may think about a little lantern if you need to area your light. Of course, we already had the glow sticks in the 72-hour bag, so you've got the glow sticks if you need those. Also, one of these was in there and I forgot to show you, but these little D-rings, they're not really carabiners because you couldn't rappel or climb with them, but they're D-rings. Whoops. These are great to clip maybe that Nalgene canteen that I had onto the front of your bag once it's full, so if it ruptures it doesn't get all your crap wet, or strap anything on anything. This connects whatever to whatever. And these are good. I got, literally, these are at Walmart, but I've gotten some from REI and some from Camp Moore before, but literally I think I got 5 for $7 or $6 at Walmart with this package of different sizes and colors. Okay, an easy but $29, not super cheap deal, but it's a pack cover, okay? This could go in your pack because it is tiny. You see it in my hand. I got this because it's a rain cover, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but if you're going to put on your stuff and go outdoors, in my experience as a Boy Scout, as a kid, and as a hunter, a lot of times it rains. At least it does in the South. So even if it's not long, it's enough to get your gear wet, and if your gear's wet, a lot of it's not usable or ruined. So it's good to keep your stuff dry. And a pack cover adds a few ounces of weight and a little bit of size in your pack, but it could be worth it for you. This one's blue. I was kind of disappointed in that. There's not a lot of pack covers out there anymore, but you could use the military, what they call the spare tire cover, which is in Woodland or Desert Digital, whatever. You could use that on your pack also. You can pick those up on Gunbroker and eBay pretty cheap, 20, 30 bucks. Okay, another thing you might add is a cook system. I didn't have one in my 72-hour bag. Okay, the reason is I didn't want to be, I'm not planning on being out there so long that I'm having to make a lot of meals. I had snacks, stuff like that, but that's about it. So what I have here is a fuel cartridge, which adds weight. I think that's 8 ounces. I have to look on it. It adds weight. This is the bigger one, or this is the medium one. And then it's you got to have a stove and something to cook in. But with that, you can do warmth. If you can't build a fire, it's smokeless. It's super high powered, so it'll beat whatever weather, what have you. So a cook system could be for you. I have one in my extended stuff. I don't carry one in my normal 72. In this bag, my cook stuff, I have a GSI thermal cup, right? Keeps your stuff warm or cold, which is handy. You can put soup in it too. And that wasn't too bad. I think I got the cup for $9.99. I have a kitchen sink from Sea to Summit. Hey, not a necessity by any means. I'm just showing you some possible luxury items that if you want to take them with you, you can. This is super small and only a few ounces. Okay? But this is a sink so you can do your dishes or transport water or what have you. Okay? And I have GSI Lexan cutlery. I like a real knife, fork, and spoon because the sporks kind of suck to eat with, especially if you want to use 2 utensils at once. Okay? And I've got GSI Soloist. It's an N-form Soloist. N is in the letter N form. I just got this last year and I've only used it twice, but I like it. So it's a pot. It's a 1 liter pot. Okay, as you can see. It kind of locks here at the top with a handle. Okay, so you can hold on to it and it's insulated, though this does still get hot on the fire. It has a lid, which of course fell off because I'm shooting video. Nothing can go right. It's got its own stuff sack in here. I've still got it in there because I've never used it, but it's a little bag that it came with. It's got its own little spork, and then I put a bowl. It comes with this little bowl. Okay, so you can put your stuff in there. If you're using dehydrated food, here's a tip for you. You can just pour the water in the bag and eat it out of the bag. You don't have to get dishes dirty, but it's here if you want to, okay? A separate little bowl, or maybe you're eating out of the bag, but you pour half of it out for your kid, someone you're helping, your wife, whatever, okay? So a cook set, and then, of course, you have to have a stove, and this seems to be the standard, man. I have 4 of these stupid things now, but they work, and it's the Pocket Rocket, MSR Pocket Rocket. Everybody has these now. This is tiny. It's 3 ounces. It fits. You spread these out, these little deals. It fits right on top of the pot, of the fuel canister, pardon me. You put your pot on there, which is not a huge surface, but you only have a 1 liter or 2 liter pot, probably, and you cook on it. You can also do a frying pan on this, which I did, this ultralight frying pan that I have in my backpack and stuff. It works, okay? 3 ounces, and it's a stove, but you got to have a cook set, probably, even if you use that $49, $59 titanium pot I just showed you, the N-form Soloist from GSI. You got to have that, and you got to have a fuel canister, which weighs money. So it's not just a 3 ounce stove. You got to have some supporting gear with that, but it's handy to have. Okay, I guess last but not least, we talk about a sleep system and a shelter. You could have a tent, okay? This is the Kelty Salida 2. I have a Salida 4 and I have a 6-man of their tent, but it's not a Salida. I think it's Trail Ridge. I don't know. Their tents come and go so much, but hey, this whole tent, it's listed in the catalog as 3 pounds 12 ounces as the normal weight, but it is tiny. Okay, I think it's 23 by 7, but it's actually 4 pounds 6 ounces on my scale. I don't know why that is, but still a 4-pound tent, just under 4.5 pounds, not bad. It holds 2 people comfortably, or if you had to, it holds 1 and your gear no problem. And it's tiny enough that it can go on my backpacking gear or my extended survival bag. Okay, because my survival bag, like I said, is if I have to walk out in the woods and not come back for a while, or make it 100 miles to the deer lease or something like that, to the cabin. So a tent might be it. It keeps the weather off of you, it keeps the bugs off of you, which is a big deal, and if you live in the South especially. And it might just be, it gives you a little bit of privacy, although you're not going to want people around you anyway. But there's a tent, okay? And this one at 150-ish. I actually picked this up $119 on eBay, free shipping. But at 150 normal price, I think, an easy investment, right? Some of this other stuff's a lot more than that. The little Pocket Rocket was $40. It's just a stove. Down to the bottom is a sleep system. This is what I have left. Look how tiny it is. You could, I had the SOL Escape Bivy, or you could use a space blanket. You could just use those things. But if you really want some comfort or better weather protection or something to keep you alive in a lot more frigid temperatures, which you may have in your area, you're going to want to upgrade your system to include some type of sleep system. I have a Kelty Go pillow. Okay, I think it was literally $9.99 on Campmore. It's tiny, doesn't weigh a thing, but it's a pillow. My neck and back bother me all the time. In 2008, a drunk driver ran into my patrol car when I was on a traffic stop on the highway. It messed up my neck a little bit. It just bothers me. It's nothing, you know, that gave me a disability. It just, my neck bothers me, especially if I sleep on just my arm or something if I'm camping. So if I get a little bitty pillow, I sleep better. If you sleep better, you feel better the next day, and you're not cranky. Okay. Also, I've got this, which is the Climate, K-L-Y-M-I-T, Recon XL, or Inertia XL. Inertia XL Recon. Okay. So, sorry. This is a sleep mat. This is the repair kit that it comes with. But as you see in there, it's literally a tan, desert tan, sleep system that weighs, a sleep mat, insulating mat, that weighs 1 pound. And it's that big. It's about the size of a 20-ounce drink bottle. So this is cool, because now you take this out, it inflates, you can blow it up, or it's a self-inflating deal. I think it's only like 5 or 6 breaths to blow it up, by the way, because of the military technology that's in this. It weighs a pound, like I said, and it keeps you off the ground. That does a few things. That, number one, is more comfortable to you because it doesn't let you, you know, you're not going to be as sore from sleeping down on the ground. And it insulates you. So if it's super cold, this gets you off of the ground, which sucks the warmth out of your body. You have to do that in a super cold environment. So a little bitty, although they're $100, they were actually $119 when I bought this, and now I'm seeing them for about $98.99 on Amazon and eBay. But the Inertia XL Climate, Inertia XL, they make several models. I got the XL because it's full size, but $100, but probably money well spent, especially if you're in a real cold situation. Last but not least, I know you've been seeing it sitting there, you're wanting to know what the heck it is. And it's the Recon. Okay, this is the Recon 4 sleeping bag. I've been looking at these. I've had this one for, this is Gen 2. So I've had it for about a year. I was actually back ordered with the company to get this because they were just getting out the Gen 2s. You saw Nothing Fancy probably do a quick SHOT Show 2013 video with these guys. I had been seeing this for about a year before then because Outdoor Life magazine, which I love to read, did a bug out or survival preparedness issue about 2 years ago, and this was a featured bag in there. So I had gotten turned on to this about 2 years ago, finally got mine about a year ago. They do the 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the higher the number, the warmer it is and the bigger it is. This is the 4, which is next to the top, and it's a -10. Now notice that that's Celsius. So in the US, that's going to be 14 degrees. That's pretty cold, man. I'm in Texas, you know, and we get some nights in the teens, some nights in the 20s, especially in February, January and February, but not a lot of them. I think if I was going to go into some type of super winter situation, okay, maybe I put a negative something bag in there, but how are you going to do it for this size? I mean, are you putting this into perspective, that how big this really is, you know? This thing is probably, it's 3.5 pounds, and it's that big, which is nothing. To give you an idea, what could I use? Okay, to give you an idea, here was that fuel canister, right? Which is probably not very big around, right? Probably 3 inches around. This thing is maybe 9 inches. So, you know, 8 or 9 inches. It's tiny by even less. You know, it's probably like 9 by 5. And it's a sleeping bag. It's a real sleeping bag with real synthetic insulation material. It has its cool stuff sack that it comes with, which isn't waterproof, by the way. But hey, what a bag. But not cheap. Man, I got this using a discount. Because they gave me a discount for being law enforcement at the time, and because they were back ordered on the Gen 2s for about 2.5 months. So they gave me 10% off. I picked this thing up for $150, and now I think they're $180. They're lesser bags than Tropical, the 3 or less. I think they go $15 less per model, and then the 5 is even higher. I think at $199 now or $219. And you know, geez, man, that's a lot of money. But again, you know, what are we talking about? A sleeping bag that may just save your life. I put it into perspective. I just want you to think through the situation, man. You're on some cold night, you got to spend the night in the car or in the woods or whatever it is. You fill in your blanks for where you live and what you might get into. But what would you do if you didn't have a sleeping bag on something that's an extreme weather situation? Now, if it's a summer in Texas, you'll be sweating to death. Low of 85, I think you'll be okay. But, you know, if it's not, what are you going to do? Would you survive the night? Would you have enough clothes to bundle up and just freaking shiver through it and work all night on something so that you stay moving and all that and then try and get some sleep during the day? I don't know. Even if you survive it, it doesn't mean you're going to like it, and it doesn't mean, it's not a guarantee that you even survive it. But if you do, you know, you want to, would it have been a $150 investment to sleep through that night, or to let one of your kids sleep through that night, or whatever the situation is, your wife that's with you, your girlfriend, by you having one sleeping bag that you guys could share and put over you or whatever, or yourself? I don't know. Again, I appreciate you watching everything. The goal of this video was a part 2 to show possible extensions that you could get into. In the personal survival kit, if you haven't figured it out, it's all levels. That kit is about 6x6. It is 6x6. It weighs about 1.5 pounds, and it's designed to, if that was the only thing you could take with you, you could survive. Because it has enough stuff to make food, filter water, fish, signal, things like that. The next level up was the 72-hour bag, and I designed that as a level 2 because that's going to be something that's going to let you maybe walk for a while. It's going to be more water capability and water holding capacity. It's going to have better fire starting. It's going to have some clothes. It's going to have a tool bag. It's going to have a little bit of food with you and stuff like that. Next, above that, you could have any of these extensions that we've just talked about, okay? And that's a sleep system, a cook system, extended first aid, extended shelter with a tent or something like that. And there's tons of tents out there. Don't get wrapped around the Kelty Slida 2. It's just the one I have. I've been looking at the Fly Creek Ultralight 2 by Big Agnes. It's awesome. 2 pounds 10 ounces, whereas this one's 4 pounds 8 ounces. This one was $150, the other was $369. So is it worth $200 more to save 2 pounds? I don't know. I don't know what kind of money you have. I don't know what kind of mission you have where you have to have a tent, but you got to cut a couple pounds, and that's your ticket. You know, go with the Fly Creek Ultralight 2 by Big Agnes. I may buy one just because it keeps bothering me that it exists and that it would lighten my pack by 2 pounds. But 2 pounds may not be a big deal to you. You may add on, like I said, the cooking and the first aid and the lighting and the towels and the whatever. Okay. Oh, another thing that I didn't have, and the reason is, it's funny, I just realized it, but it's on the charger, but that's a walkie-talkie or a ham radio or what have you. A lot of times these things are going to, communications are going to be important to you. I work as a police officer, and I'll have my CB on my, you know, walkie-talkie, my radio, portable radio every day on my belt. So if I had to, that's going in my bug-out bag if I have to get out, or my get-home bag. Because it's police bands from my local county and all the cities around us and all that stuff, and all the fire departments, what have you. But, you know, a Motorola radio is a great bet. I have several of them, and the one that's in my 72-hour bag, I just realized was charging, so it didn't get in the video. I'll also try to annotate that onto the 72-hour thing. But, you know, those portable ham radios that you see James Yeager and a few different guys show you on YouTube, those are cool and very important. Communications and signaling is just as important, in my opinion, as your gun could be, or as something like that. You know, it could save your life to be able to contact somebody when you're in need. Another item might be those spot PLBs, personal locating beacons, that you've seen. They do require a monthly subscription. I don't have one, but if I was going to do something cool like some Rocky Mountain elk hunt or some Alaska bear hunt or something like that, where I was going to be way out, yeah, I'd get one, no problem. They're only about $100, $199 depending on the model, and you know, X a month, 10 or 20 bucks a month. So I do one, but that might be something that you think about as well. Also, it may be a flare situation. If you're going to be a lot of maritime stuff, a lot of lake going, or maybe the ocean going, the coast, you might go with a lot of flares. Or you're in a high and low situation where you're in the mountains, so you can shoot a flare and it drifts down for quite a ways. Flare might be important to you. I've seen the pin flares and have been really thinking about getting one of those Orion flare pins. Anyway, I really appreciate it as usual. I'd appreciate it if you like the video and share the video. Check us out on Facebook at Scout Tactical. And of course, as always, subscribe. Thanks.